You know, for the first time ever, I was denied a nice, relaxing, homemade, gravy-filled Thanksgiving dinner with my family and extended loved ones, and I laid the blame at the feet of American border crossing agents. You see, the plan was to drive down with another couple of tried and true Canadians to Buffalo, hop on a plane to Minneapolis, deplane, and speak to a whole slew of tried and true Americans at a Canada Day conference put on by the good folks at Minnesota for Marriage, a grassroots organization fighting real hard at making sure Minnesotans understand what really is at stake when the state votes in a few weeks on whether to uphold the traditional and true meaning of marriage or send the state spiraling downwards into a virtual cultural sinkhole of which there really is no return. Anywho, the guys in uniform, two of whom were very, very sympathetic to not only my situation, but my cause, well, they still couldn't get over the fact that I was going down to speak as a regular guy who was fired from his anchor job at Rogers Sportsnet the day after tweeting in defense of marriage. I wasn't going there to get paid. I was going there to pay testimony to what will most certainly happen to regular folk in the state of Minnesota, folk like me, who dare to express that marriage needs to remain a union between one man and one woman. Well, congratulations, American Border Patrol. You managed to keep a terrorist like Damien Goddard out of your country. You know, one of the kickbacks to nixing the drumsticks and mixed drinks that Thanksgiving brings would have been the great honor of not only getting to share my story, but meeting a holy man I hold in high esteem. That would be Ottawa Archbishop Terence Prendergast. The man has been a champion for all things Catholic, and there is no backing down from him in this fight for the culture we find ourselves in. With my Canadian human rights case against Rogers Communications Incorporated moving along, or more like meandering along, it would have been inspiring, to say the least, to have been right there in the conference room to hear the Archbishop open his talk with the very sobering statement that went like this, quote, "You are summoned to a tribunal where you cannot have a defense lawyer and you cannot record the proceedings nor have a witness present. The people judging and prosecuting you have no legal qualifications. The accusation is ambiguous, having to do with the ideas the state does not like. The penalties could include fines equal to several thousands of dollars, public recanting, and rehabilitation classes. You are a bishop, and this is not China, this is Canada. The offense? Explaining why homosexual relations are a sin," end quote. Okay, so I wasn't there in person to hear it, but it still sent a shudder through my body when I read it on LifeSite News from my own basement office, as it should send a shudder throughout the bodies of each and every Canadian who holds these truths to be self-evident. And as almost as if on cue, a blast from the bow of the other side. You know, those hell-bent on squashing whatever is left of religious liberties here in the true north, strong and free. You know, a shot, a near-deafening shot, an assassination attempt on freedom by those who want you to shut up, and shut up good. Words from some liberal, gay-friendly activist type? No, not at all. How about the smoking gun held firmly in the grasp of a so-called honorable member of parliament, the Minister of Education, no less? Laurel Broughton, just days after Archbishop Prendergast's dire warning, steps into the fray to say Catholic schools can't teach about abortion being wrong. Broughton says that's hate speech. It's, quote, misogynistic. Well, according to the tenets of Bill 13, she's got a point. Bill 13, the Accepting Schools Act. The title might draw a chuckle if it weren't for the damn tear welling up in your eye. Whereas Broughton exclaims within Bill 13 verbiage that LGBT students too often feel unsafe at school, she, the Minister of Education, she herself wields the stick to beat off any good to honest pro-life high schooler who dare speak out in defense of the innocent, voiceless in the womb. But we offer thanksgiving to the faithful clergy who step up and make their voice heard in these very trying times. The Cardinal Archbishop of Toronto at the dinner, bearing his title, the day after Broughton's traitorous comments against the Catholic faith that she professes to hold, reinforced the fact that defending the voiceless is our mission. Good on you, Cardinal Collins. And if that wasn't enough for you, Bishop Michael Mulhall of Pembroke drove the point home even further, stating Broughton's statement was very disturbing, but hardly surprising. His Excellency went on to assure the faithful that the Catholic Church will continue to preach the beauty of the gospel of Christ in its fullness and without compromise, and will defend her legitimate autonomy from outside organizations which attempt to define the content of Roman Catholic teaching. God bless Bishop Mulhall for his rock-solid stance, and thank God the beat goes on, because as of this moment, some other swell folk down at Campaign Life Coalition have taken up a petition which will be sent to the Legislative Assembly of Ontario to not only protect religious freedom, but force Minister Broughton's resignation and rescind Bill 13. In terms of her relationship with the Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, Broughton has voluntarily put herself in this mess. And I'd say, stick a fork in her, she's done, but by the grace of God, she does have the sacrament of reconciliation, I'm just saying. And by the grace of God, the Catholic Church is swinging back. You know, maybe I didn't miss Thanksgiving after all.